LFC Daytrippers, brought to you by bookmakers.com.
Hello, good evening, and welcome to the LFC Daytrippers. I'm Gav, and that is Seany beside me. It is NTK, no transfer knowledge. It's our first transfer show of the summer, although I'm using the word summer loosely. It's fucking horrendous, the weather in Ireland at the minute. The idea of tonight is to just lash through a load of names, whether it's linked to Liverpool or linked to other clubs in the Premier League, have a chat about them, and see where we think they might go, or if they will go or move at all. Show is brought to you by bookmakers.com. Check them out at their website for all your analysis, your stats, your comparisons. And if you gamble, do so responsibly, and you can there with all the odds on all the sports from all the bookmakers. I'm going to say again early to this evening, hit the like button. There's plenty of you in there. Hit the like button if you haven't already. Subscribe if you haven't already. And if you have subscribed, hit the bell notification. And every time I'm going to go live, you will know about it. Seany, transfer window. It's coming in quick. Now, we don't pretend to know anything about transfers. We just talk about what's out there. Is it reliable? Is it not? We just like talking about footballers, really. So, are you excited about the transfer window that's going to come up?
No.
No.
I'm never excited by transfer windows. It doesn't
Right.
really it doesn't appeal to me anymore. It's something I kind of just got away from in recent years, where if it's gonna happen, it'll happen, sort of thing. That on top of the fact that fucking nobody really has a clue what's going on in terms of Liverpool, and a lot of it is just spitballing and seeing what sticks. So there was a time where I'd fully trust Liverpool to just do the right business and bring in the right players, but I think our recruitment has kind of it's suffered in recent years. I don't think we've been as prolific in terms of being the smartest people in the room with the signings we make. But no doubt about it, it's a massive summer ahead for a lot of clubs, Liverpool being one of them. I'm not going to say it's a massive summer for the owners, because like, what does it really fucking mean if they do or don't do the business? Like, it's not like you can just say, right, get out of the club. It's not really the way it works. But major investment is needed in at Liverpool, and it's going to be interesting to see what way Liverpool go about it.
We'll get on to Liverpool in a bit. I want to just lash through a load of players. If you want to talk about any players, or you want us to talk about any players, throw them in there. They might be Liverpool related, they might be not Liverpool related. Like G10 has mentioned Bastoni there. He's obviously been watching the Champions League tonight. Somebody else mentioned
people are saying that's the end of the show. No, it's just like I'm not like obviously I'll be keeping an eye on what's happening and be recommended, but like
you're like Father Stone there from Father Ted now.
It's not that. It's just I think these days Liverpool fans on social media seem to get walked up by all of these names that are just thrown around when there's probably very little truth in them. But what it is everything sticks now, and then they get super upset when they end up not coming off. And although it's probably never concrete to begin with. Now, obviously, that's not the case with Bellingham. I'm sure we'll talk about him, but it's fucking mad. It's mental. My days of losing the head over players that didn't sign for Liverpool that I've never seen play before. For example, like if anyone was watching the game tonight, Mkhitaryan was playing, and I was like, I spent fucking weeks trying to learn how to spell that fucker's name at the time. We were gonna get him from
Yeah.
Shakhtar, and it never formulated. But look, it is where it is.
Paul Gormley said it looks like we're signing 3 million midfielders according to Twitter. Yeah, it's a different midfielder every day. Quick question here, a little bit off topic, but I'm gonna throw it at you. Quick answer from it. You can give me a quick answer if you like. Andrew Hillier says, "Hi guys, I've always been a massive Gerrard fan. However, my dad and uncles are telling me Salah is our greatest Premier League player. Thoughts, please."
Yeah. I think it's hard to argue. Numbers and achievements, Premier League era. Oh, I love Steven Gerrard, don't get me wrong. But Mo Salah he was finished after his 300k a week contract, I believe. But he's coming back to life. But look what he's done for the club. Always fit, always scoring, always assisting. And I think he's far from done. I think we've seen sort of a rejuvenation of Salah under the kind of the tweak with the system. But yeah, if you're looking as a whole, Premier League legacy, not just Liverpool, I actually think he might be the best winger to ever play in the Premier League.
Yeah, I think that one's hard to argue.
Yeah, I think there's definitely an argument to make there in terms of it. His numbers are fucking incredible, but look, revisionism is always kind of rife when you do these things. Like, there's no doubt what Steven Gerrard done. Look, I think if you just replace Gerrard with Salah in the teams, even though they're different positions, we probably don't win at. But you can't deny what Mo Salah has done, especially from a Premier League perspective, and he's won it as well, which will help him in that regard. But in terms of attackers, fucking, you can argue about who's second, because I don't think there's anyone even close to him. But yeah, and I think it's a disservice just to say Liverpool's greatest ever Premier League player. I think he's definitely the best winger, wide forward, whatever you want to call it, to play in the Premier League for me.
I think my take on this is I think Salah's numbers are unreal. We were only talking about them Sunday night, weren't we?
Yeah.
You know, ridiculous amount of goals and assists. You know, I think it's something like 240 goals and assists in 300 odd games. It's stupid. He's in his 6th season. He's arguably been in Liverpool's best side that you've seen since the 80s. Gerrard has never been in that. He's only just passed Gerrard for goals. Now, Gerrard was in the squad for 17 years, I think. I'd still have Gerrard as our best Premier League player. Just because of...
Yeah.
Because of like what he had to play with, the moments he come up with literally on his own. When you thought this team is fucking shy, Gerrard had pulled something out of the bag. Gerrard would go and play centre midfield for your right midfield. He'd play in a 10. He'd go right back. He'd do anything. He was an unfucking believable player. But do you know what? I think it's hard. If you look at if you were to say to me the best forward we've had in the Premier League, forward player, Salah is it for me. You know, just ridiculous numbers over 6 seasons, and he'll go well above what he has now if he stays at Liverpool for 2 or 3 seasons. I think they're hard to compare. You know,
it is hard to compare.
I'd still have Gerrard as our best Premier League player.
Yeah, and look, you could argue either or, but he's definitely in the conversation. Like, you know what I mean? We can't forget how good Gerrard was either. Look, put it this way, I'm actually going against my own argument here, but if you put a prime Steven Gerrard in that team last year, we win the quadruple. You know what I mean? Like, that's... Yeah. He was the best midfielder in the world.
That's what I'm saying.
He could have definitely played for anyone.
Yeah, because when you
at his peak, and Mo Salah the same. Look, it's apples and oranges, really. Like, great.
It is because of positional sense. Like, when we talk about this side, right? It's not so much this season, and we've gone on a mad tangent, but we'll stick with it. When you talk about, say, the team of last season or the team of 18, 19, 20, right? And the question will come up every so often, what player from the past would you put into this side? It was always Gerrard or Souness. They were the two names that come up all the time. Now, that 18-19 side, I think played better football than 19-20, but 19-20 won a league title. But that 18-19 side, honestly, if you put a Gerrard in it, would have swept everything before. Like, just everything before. And that's why I think I'd hold them up there. But it's an argument for another day, you know. Like, neither of them compared to John Barnes, as everyone knows. So,
Yeah.
I don't know why we're having this argument. I'm only messing. Let me start with a player. Let me throw one at you, Shawnee. Declan Rice. His contract is up in the summer of 2024, I think. But he has an option, or the club have an option of an extension to 2025. I thought he was nailed on to go to Chelsea when they were going through that mad period, or just before that mad period. I thought he's nailed on to go. I feel like he's a bit of a homeboard, i.e. stay in London. The word coming out is that West Ham want £120 million, I think, and they would only accept that from a Champions League team, to release Declan Rice. Is he worth it? Because the market is what it is now. Enzo Fernandez are 106 or 7. And where does he go? Because I'm going to say, I think if he ends up anywhere, he ends up at Arsenal now.
See, Gav, the is he worth that argument is, you need to think, right, how much is he worth to West Ham? You know, like, and yeah, exactly. He's their best player, and he probably would have been bang in the middle of relegation now if it wasn't for them. I know people. One thing I don't like about Rice is the team that gets levelled at and that, or he's overrated and he's English. He's not. He's a fucking brilliant footballer. He's a brilliant footballer, and the more you see him, the more you see to his game. He was fucking immense on Sunday against United, and he's been brilliant whenever I've watched him. To be honest with you, it's someone that I thought he was a little bit tippy-tappy sideways sort of midfielder, just keep it ticking over, but he's way more strings to his bow. He's a serious athlete, he's brilliant on the ball, he's a good leader. I think 120 million may be expensive because you're looking at that's Bellingham money, you know. But
yeah. And John says there, West Ham apparently going to benchmark Rice on what Bellingham goes for.
Yeah, and look, you can, again, it's about like, it's like for years and years, Crystal Palace priced Zaha out of a move, and Villa done it with Grealish to a point. But again, it's always about like a player is only like transfer fees are superficial completely because if it works out, nobody gives a fuck. But if a player's struggling, it'll be the first stick that he's beaten with, and that's just how it goes. But look, he's definitely worth 120 million to West Ham. Will they get that for him? I don't think so. I think you'll go for around the 100 million mark. I think if Arsenal are clever, they're using the likes of a Reece Nelson or a Xhaka in that deal who would easily supplement the West Ham team. And I think Reece Nelson's a very good player. I think he'd be a good signing for anyone in around that level of the Premier League. I think he's a perfect signing for Arsenal. The only worry I'd have if I was Arsenal is Man City are going to lose a few midfielders this summer, and with Bellingham potentially going to Real Madrid, it looks like he would be perfect in that role for Man City because I genuinely reckon Rice is the type of player that can play 6, 8, 10. Honestly, he played centre back. I think he's so much quality. A lot of his game actually reminds me of Roy Keane with just how clean he is with the ball. Roy Keane was a very underrated as an actual football player. I thought
very rarely gave it away.
He was a hatchet man, but Keane was a very very effective, passer of the ball, over the ball, and got some great goals. Rice is brilliant. I think like Declan Rice is brilliant. I think he walks into the starting 11 of every team in England, if I'm being honest with you. I agree with you what you said about Chelsea. I think he was made for Chelsea until fucking Pauli went in there on a mad one. But I think if Arsenal play their cards right, they'll be able to get him. And I think he'd be a super signing for them. I think he's a level up on Partey and Xhaka, exactly what they need, and will help them kick on. Irish people don't really like Rice because of what happened. Look, he did what he had to do, and for this very reason, this is why he's done what he's done. But he's a fucking brilliant footballer. Kevin Ball saying he doesn't start by City. When Gundogan's not there next year, you just throw Rice in there, not a bother. Honestly, you're not watching him enough if you don't rate him. And I'm being deadly serious saying that he's so good. He's so good. It goes against him now at this stage that he's English, because it's sort of like the Michael Carrick thing that he's so underrated, he's overrated sort of thing. People turn around saying, I really like Declan Rice. I take him at a heartbeat at Liverpool.
So 120 million is, I think, over the odds. You know, I think the 105, 6, whatever. It was 105 or something for Enzo Fernandez was over the mark. Right? It's just, but you have to caveat that with, you know, that's the world we live in now. I think West Ham might be, if they've thrown that out there, because they're probably going to gauge what Rice is going to do. Because Rice could easily turn around and go, you'll extend my contract to 2025, and I'm not extending after that. Do you know what I mean? It's 2 seasons. He's, what age is he? Is he 23-ish? Somewhere around that, Declan Rice?
23, 24.
Yeah, somewhere around that. Yeah. So it could be a case of West Ham looking to see, just treading, you know, testing the water a little bit, but they'll know what's going on. You know, of course they will. He's their player. He's not, you're not getting, I don't think 120 million will be the number. I think the number will be around 70 to 80 million. I think it lands in a sweet spot around where you're looking at maybe Soicedo and possibly McAllister, somewhere in around that. Arsenal, like, would I take him at Liverpool? Yes. I think he's better. I actually think, like someone said there, at number 10, no way, but I actually seen him playing for a couple of times for West Ham where he's asked to drive with the ball and kind of be creative, and he's quite good at it. He's quite good at it, right? My only worry about, and I've said this to you loads of times, my only worry about Declan Rice is, and I was very interested during the World Cup to see it, when England changed their system and left Declan Rice on his own and won as a single man in a defensive midfield position on his own, I think he struggled massively. And what I mean by that is I don't think he struggled in a defensive sense. I think where to go and get the ball and make the angles in order to get his team playing, I think he struggled because he's so used to Souček beside him, and he takes one side, Souček takes the other, and they know their patterns. Now that can be coached into you. So that's probably me just being a bit, you know, I'm not too sure, but that's what I've seen from Declan Rice. On the ball, clean, very rarely gives it away. He's strong, he's athletic. I think if you give him an opportunity, he probably has an eye for goal as well. You know, he's played centre half, so his defence.
He scores some crackers.
Yeah, and his defensive awareness is really good. Like Ard says, he's not good in possession. I think you have to define good, because I think when he gets it, he's neat and tidy on it. But I think the play for
playing prime Hullet on Sunday against United.
Yeah, I know, but the thing is, like, you're saying if he goes to an Arsenal, right, or he goes, say, Liverpool, or indeed a Man City, right, probably not United because he likes to sit with two. But if he goes to one of them, if he goes into the Fabinho role, Fabinho at his peak made unbelievable angles for his centre back. So does Rodri, does it all the time, and Partey does it as well. They make great angles for their centre backs to play out, and then he looks for whether it's Odegaard, Xhaka, you know, if it's Liverpool, whoever it is. And that's where I think Rice would need to develop. I think Rice will move this summer. I think he's probably looked at it and went, listen, Europa Conference, great. If we win it, we win the Europa League. But, you know, we're hanging around in a relegation battle with 8 games to go. And that's not where Rice needs to be. It's just not. He's given enough to West Ham. He's cost them nothing, I don't think. Yeah. And if they get 70, 80 million quid, they can go and supplement that with probably 2 players in their squad. Makes them stronger and probably makes them, you know, gives them better tools to progress in the league. You know, even though he's a fantastic player. So it's an interesting one to watch. I don't think Liverpool will be near him at 70 or 80 million.
No, not right.
But I think of Arsenal, when I look at Arsenal, I think he's perfect for them. I think they definitely need a midfield and they definitely need a forward. And I think just Rice is so settled in London. He knows everything about the place. And if I was a betting man and he's leaving, I would say Arsenal. But look, we wait and see. An update will probably come on him. But look, I want to talk to you about something that's popped up again today, and it's more reports from Portugal. Okay, and I'm being honest, and you know me, I take these with a bag of salt. You know what I mean? But Ugarte has come up again. And two things I've seen today, two reports. One, Ugarte, apparently the deal is heating up with Liverpool. And the other one was McAllister, that the deal is heating up. What's your take on both of them? Presuming Liverpool did go in and sign both of them, A, what do you think of them as players? And B, are they the right signs for Liverpool?
I haven't seen much of Ugarte.
I've only seen a little bit of them as well.
Yeah, I watched them about the games against Arsenal in the Europa League. He was brilliant. He was the best player on the pitch at the Emirates. He gets sent off.
Yeah.
But he gets sent off being a clever fucker. So there's no issue with that. Like, you know what I mean? He's making cynical fouls. But, geez, from the clips I watched him, he's an absolute animal. He just trudges around the pitch. He's brilliant on the ball. Bit of snide in him. I think it's exactly what we need. I think you made a point a couple of weeks on the show. You don't want players that can kind of do this or kind of do this.
Yeah.
You're looking for like specialists. And I actually think we need a specialist six, a sitter, someone in there who's going to kind of deputise in front of the back four. So, yeah, look, I'm definitely on board with Ugarte. And the thing I take positively from Ugarte is that a lot of the noise is coming from the Portuguese side, which normally happens with these deals. We've seen it with Darwin and we've seen it with Luis Diaz. That stuff started to trickle down from that side. It normally comes from South America, from Portugal. I think Ojogo is the big paper where you normally see. And I showed you as well, I work with a lad who was a huge Sporting fan, and he's like, no, he's not that good, leave him alone. He's sure you can't take someone from Benfica side of thing. He's just sick of the club being, but he highly rates Ugarte and he highly rates Inacio as well, who apparently we're also looking at. McAllister's a fucking brilliant footballer. He's a proper throwback midfielder. Again, he's another one who can do 6, 8, 10. You'd be comfortable with him doing that. I think he has nearly everything in his toolbox. A standout at the World Cup for Argentina. But even before that, I thought he was brilliant. We were at the Brighton game in Anfield, Gav, and he was smashing that day. I say that as well, brilliant that day. So, again, like, prices are superficial. I think someone does it. I know Ugarte definitely has a buyout clause. And then there's talks of links that would the price potentially cost to get McAllister out there. I think they'd be both brilliant players for Liverpool, Gav, to be honest with you. Genuinely fit us like a glove. Exactly what we need. Legs and tenacity in the middle with quality on the ball. Something that we've been missing. I think McAllister will be the closest thing to Genie we've seen.
I said that.
Again, you see him pop up. And Keith made a point last week, if we sign him, he'll be the best penalty taker and free kick taker at the club. We probably won't get near them. So, look, I think McAllister definitely is one that's made for us, and it does seem like there's genuine interest in there. Now, Brighton are notoriously difficult to do business with, but I don't think there should be any sort of hiccups in terms of paying what they want, because look, at the end of the day, Brighton deserve that pound of flesh for the fact that they're scouting these players and taking the risk on them. And it's basically what that model is based off. And if Liverpool had to go back to being fucking clever again, we would have been taking Soicedo from Ecuador and McAllister from Boca Juniors before he goes. But we haven't been at that level. I'd be delighted if we got both of them. Let's see what happens. I'm of the idea that we need 3, but I think we'll only sign 2. And I'll give you my reasoning for that probably a little bit further on, but I'm of the opinion that we need 3, but I think we will only sign 2.
Well, Jono says the Uruguayan journal said Ugarte wants to move to Liverpool, and we know the news always comes from the source of the player. He also says it's a £53 million release clause. We should be all over that. Don't try wasting time trying to save 10 million. Klopp wants these players in early, go do it now.
The thing is with release clauses, you need to take into account is that their initial expense of a re-clause is way higher than if you were to sign a player
Yes.
over the period of his contract.
Yeah.
So that's where the issue might come in.
Yeah.
And
But
that's
Liverpool could
that's
go in
what
with
that was the hold up with. That was the
Enzo
hold up
Fernandez.
with Enzo Fernandez, where Chelsea ended up paying a premium to pay it over 8 years or however many years they signed him up to. So I think that's probably where the negotiation gets stuck. It is as simple as going, here's 53 million and give us the player, but you don't. It's not the smartest thing to do financially. It's not actually something we have the power to do, because
no, they're probably better off going in and going, there's 50 plus 20 add-ons, or 10 or 15 million add-ons, and although that's 65 would be 12 million more than the buyout clause, you actually pay it over in a period of time, so it's actually easier. It's an easier job to do. You think we should sign 3? I think we should sign 3. You think we'll sign 2? But before you give me the reason, or you can give me the reason if you want. But I think if you were to go with Garty and McAllister, and you're probably looking in around the 120 million for the two of them all in, I think it makes a massive argument if the third player that's going to come in. I think it should be Jude Bellingham, right? But that's me just thinking that's what you should do. But thinking on, possibly more sane terms, I think it makes a massive argument for the third person being Ryan Gravenberch, because I think the rumblings coming out of Bayern Munich with regards to him is that he just hasn't enjoyed himself there. They got him at 25 million quid. Liverpool could probably get him for around 35 to 40 million quid, and they'll want to make a profit on him. But 40 million quid feels like a really easy, doable transfer. It's a third midfielder. He's young, and he's probably one that Klopp will look at and go, yeah, I can actually make an absolute player of him.
Yeah, Gravenberch is another one who, look, if you roll the clocks back a year and we're doing this show this time last year and we're saying we're in for Ryan Gravenberch, you'd be jumping for joy, because he was literally one of the most sought after midfielders and you're just thinking, there's Bayern Munich again, and they're doing a great bit of business and bringing him in, and they find a place for him, but they haven't been able to integrate him into the team, and I don't think he's happy with his playing time. There's no doubt the fella's talent and ability is fucking off the scale, but I'll give you my thinking behind the 2 coming in and not the 3. If I'm being completely honest, Gav, when's the last time we didn't go into the first game of the season short one? We didn't go into the window closing short one.
Fair.
It's happened. I'd argue nearly every year since Klopp came in, and I just have a feeling they're going to do it to us again. I have a feeling, and Klopp referred in the press conference after the Fulham game, I think it was, about Trent's future in terms of what he's going to do with him. And he says it's all going to depend on who we bring in the window. Now, I don't know whether I don't know where I seen it linked, but I don't know whether it was just talk and someone come up with the idea and I liked the idea. I seen we were linked with Livramento, a right back from Southampton, who was really, really good before his injury. I don't know whether Liverpool might look towards going to a more conventional right back and just say to Trent, look, you have free rein to go in there and do as you please, because look at his numbers since he's gone in. Look, I know it's early doors, but like, he's number 1 on every stat since he's moved into midfield. Not that I didn't think he had the ability, it's a different role playing in the midfield, but he seems to be it's like a duck to water. I don't know what way they're going to look at it, because it's all going to depend on systems, really, what way we go. Mount is another one who's been talked up, and Gravenberch is another one who's been talked up. We're going to be linked to loads of players. We're linked to Barella, like, that's never going to happen. Like, fucking Italians don't travel well. I don't know where it is.
No, and he looks a fantastic player. Sorry.
No, he's a brilliant player, but it's I am of the idea we need 3, but
if Milner goes, we need 3, because
but Gav, he went on. People hate this. I don't really hate it. I kind of understand it. You're gonna see more Curtis Jones next year. I
completely understand that, but
you're gonna see these, and especially if we end up in the Europa League, and it won't be a finance thing. They'll just look at what way they can manage the squad and go another year without some, because that's the way we've operated. Like, if we were a serious club in the market, which I don't think we are, if I'm being 100% honest with you, we'd be signing Bellingham. This Madrid shite would never be happening. And the thing, if we were a serious club in windows gone past, we only would have needed Bellingham in this window anyway. It would have been a case of just totting up the squad to go again, but we haven't. We've left ourselves way too much on. They've given us the excuse now that too much needs to be done, that we can't afford Bellingham. I think your outrage should lie in terms of when that deal eventually does happen to Madrid. When you look at the numbers at that, and if it is 140 million euros or pounds or whatever it is, I think you can go, right, fair enough. We're just not. We're not in it. As much as we like to think, fucking wherever the Deloitte Money League says, we don't do them deals, and we've done shows in the past that typically those deals don't work out. That's not to say Bellingham won't work out, but they just don't. Like that approach doesn't normally work. As much as I do think Bellingham is worth it. So if we're not getting Bellingham, there's absolutely no fucking excuse not to skimp a penny on Ugarte or McAllister. He should be given everything exactly what he needs. In a perfect window, by signing 3 midfielders and someone who's comfortable playing right-sided centre-back and right-back, I think, at the same time. And I think that gives you an opportunity to kick on. 4 midfielders in the window, it's mad. You shouldn't be signing any more than 4 players in any one window anyway. It's just too hard to integrate that many new players into a squad, especially with the way Klopp likes doing it. So it's going to be interesting. I don't know. I'm very, like, you and Keith are of the idea that this is going to be the window where they blow a big bag. I'd nearly guarantee you that. And net spend is a fallacy. I think it's a load of bollocks because it doesn't factor into. It's a buzzword created on social media that is just a load of bollocks, and it's used by Sky to drive up to inflame fan bases and drive up engagement by putting us down lower than the likes of fucking Villa and all. When we spend way more than them, we spend way more than Villa in the cost of running the club by paying out wages and stuff. So they don't spend more money than us. But I think if you're just solely looking at transfer fees going out and fees coming in, I think the overall outlay won't be too dissimilar to what you've seen in the past, where it's maybe 50 million. It's a 40-50 million outlier in comparison to maybe 30-40 million.
I think it's impossible to do that this summer. Impossible.
Gav,
Shawnee, Shawnee, you said something, and someone asked him about Livramento. Is he not a Chelsea player? No, he signed for Southampton.
No, he's summer before last. Southampton, yeah.
But the thing is, right, and it's interesting you said it. We're going to see more of Curtis Jones, right? That's absolutely fine. But the problem is that you could absolutely argue, right, that Keita and Oxlade-Chamberlain could leave and have no effect on their squad. Absolutely none, right? So forget them. Forget that they've left for a minute.
Yeah.
Right? Because Klopp always talks about, I have 10 midfielders. Why would I need more midfielders? And he has said that, right? But the problem you have is, right, and look, I adore Klopp, right? I think he's the best thing we've had as a manager since Dalglish, right? But Klopp and his staff can't seriously look and say, right, we're going to see more of Curtis Jones. We've seen nothing of Curtis Jones this year because of injury, right? Bar the last 6 games, nothing of him. You have Henderson, who clearly you can see his legs are going right in front of you. You can see it. He can't do it.
No, he's done. He's done.
Right, so if he slots into a Milner type role in the squad, fine. Fabinho has been all over the shop. Like you said, you're convinced he had that child and not the woman he's married to, right? Maybe he's still recovering from that and it can take time, right? But the signs are there. Thiago, the signs are absolutely there, fantastic footballer, right? Fantastic footballer, but I'm sorry, with everything else that's around you, you have to be playing games, right?
Yeah.
Harvey Elliott, I think, has done as well as he possibly could in a midfield that's being chopped and changed all the time. No legs around him. He's fine. Curtis Jones, I've no problem. I've no problem with these players in the squad, but I have got a problem with the thought of us going into next season where we haven't brought 3 midfielders in. For one, to subsidise what leaves, and 2, to absolutely protect yourself against what you already have there, right? Because I promise you, Shawnee, if we bring in 2, you might get away. But Shawnee, look, I know where you're coming from.
Ox and Keita are less than useless. Like,
I completely understand that, but the thing is, Shawnee, we wouldn't be having the discussion. If you didn't even replace
them, you wouldn't even notice the difference.
I know, but we always have the discussion when Liverpool are poor. When Liverpool are poor, right? We always have the discussion. Oh, fucking, he's bleeding brutal, and there's them other 2 over there. The one who can't even play. I want to be able to go. They're brutal. There's 2 that are really good. Put them in. That's what we need, right? And I get what you're saying about nets. Well, not net spend, but the outlay or whatever it might be. They cannot do it. They cannot turn around at the end of this summer and go, oh, Liverpool had spent 100 million on players and sold 40 million more and 60 million. It won't work. It simply won't work because people have made good points in the chat here with regards to defensively, right? Because if you want to put Trent in midfield, I'm okay with that. If you take Kate out and say Trent in midfield now, fine. He'll do more in midfield in 6 games than Oxlade-Chamberlain's done in a year for Liverpool. So I'm fine with that, right? And we'll have teething problems and things that go wrong at times. I'm absolutely fine with that. But that means you have to get your right back absolutely perfect, right? Because as much as people go on about him defensively and stuff, he is an unbelievable right back for Liverpool. So you have to get that right. So then that's another outlay. I just think, there's been argument after argument on this channel about FSG. We've been accused before of, oh, you're pro FSG. We're not. We speak as we see it, and anyone that accuses us of being anything else, I think, are a bit mad, right? But I think everyone, to a man, woman, child that watches Liverpool, says that this summer, right, regardless of what's going on or whether you want to go Bellingham or you want to go, Liverpool need to go into next season with at the very minimum 3 new midfielders and possibly a defender. The very minimum.
No, I think minimum 3 midfielders and a defender. I don't think it's possible. I don't think there's any possibility about it. But Gav, I'm basing it off what's happened in the past.
I know what you're doing. But the past has developed what this is. Do you know what I mean? They have to understand that what they've done in the past develops this now into this.
Like, you're saying they have to. I think they had to do it in August. I think they need a midfielder in August.
Yeah. The only thing I would give them last August. The only thing I give them last August, Shawnee, was I think they were
waiting on Bellingham.
No. I think they were going to sell Oxlade-Chamberlain, and I think he got that injury. And I think that messed them about a little bit. I'll give them that.
Again, that's not an excuse now.
No, it's not an excuse, but I can understand the numbers game with regards to the players you have in the squad. But now, Ox is going to go, Kate is going to go, Milner looks like he's going to go, Henderson's legs are going, Fabinho is out of form, Thiago's now out for the rest of the season, so what way is he coming back? You've got Jones, fair enough, but will he break down again? There's so many, not problems, but there's so many cracks you're covering there. And not only that, Shawnee, you need to do 3 now, or else you're doing 3 again next summer. This doesn't all get fixed this summer. Because next summer, I think Thiago goes. I think Henderson possibly goes. And if Fabinho survives this season, he'll probably go. So then you're down to another 3. So what are we going to do? 2 now, 2 next season. So it'll take us 4 years to sort out a midfield. It can't be like that. But just looking around the league, right? Players who comes in, who comes out. Like you mentioned City earlier. They're going to lose a couple of players. They'll have to go big in the summer as well, won't they? They'll have to do a decent bit of business.
Yeah, but again, they only need to probably sign 1 player. Yeah, and that's my worry is I think McAllister is made for them. I think he's honestly.
That'll be your worry then. Over McAllister, if you want McAllister,
and they will not fuck around. They won't. They don't negotiate. City don't negotiate. Now they walked away from Cucurella because it was fucking stupid in the end. They were right to do that. But they will just pay. They'll pay McAllister over the odds. They're offering him more opportunity to win trophies. Now, I know what we're reading is he doesn't want to play for them and he'd rather play for Liverpool. That's fucking fine. But you don't give him that opportunity. You know what I mean? And that's why I'd want this lined up, because he's actually the perfect player for them. He's short, sharp, tidy on the ball, gets around, tenacious. I think he's perfect for them. Honestly, I really do. And that'd be my worry. That's why I want to tie her up. I think they're looking at a centre-back as well. They're just talking, I'm looking at Vardy. City could probably sign any one player they wanted, barring Bellingham, because he doesn't want to play for them. So they are going to be in the thing for them in midfield. But they're looking at winning a treble. Like, you know what I mean? There's very few players in the world they could buy to really up their ante. But they're just supplementing a brilliant squad now, and that's what they do. Look, fucking true.
But they're going to be supplementing a couple that are leaving, because Gundogan is probably gone.
Yeah. There's talk of Gundogan leaving, Silva and Mahrez. Look, Gav, I don't even want to think about what sort of business them cunts will do, because they can literally sign any player they want through Wilgon games or whatever way you want to look at it.
Yeah, they just tell us all for flowers for around the stadium.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, you know what I mean? There's a great shout from Dylan O'Rourke there. Like, Kovacic is literally like a fucking. I'd imagine if Pep was designing players, he'd be one he'd be looking at. I think he's on the way out with Chelsea, so I wouldn't be surprised if they nipped him. City are clever when they do. Like, Akanji as well was a very clever signing, a brilliant signing for them. You know, like,
it raised a few eyebrows.
They can be clever when they want to be. Yeah, but they're clever when they want to be. Their recruitment is very good. Even look at the shite Grealish got last year, and Pep's taken his time and has got him really working out, and he's working as a serious part of that player, that team. So if we want someone like McAllister, we can't fucking sit in our hands, because they will swoop in. I think he's made for them. Honestly, I do. I think he's made for them. That'd be my worry in terms of McAllister, that they might just fucking swoop in. But look, people saying Vardy self-proclaimed Liverpool. I'm telling you, lads, the way this game works, Vardy's agent will be saying, these are going to pay me a big bag of money, they're going to pay you a big bag of money, and you're going to play top-level football until they potentially get whacked by the fucking whoever the powers that be. So sit up and shut up and fucking you're off. Like, you know what I mean? It doesn't matter who these fellas say they follow. But City have that luxury of cheating.
Yeah, they do. Of course they do.
It is what it is. It is what it is.
Yeah, of course it is.
That's not being bitter. It is what it is.
It is.
They cheat. Like, they cheat. And they've been allowed to do that, so it is what it is. I'd like to discuss United, but God fucking knows what's going on there, and I don't really want to mention them. I think we were talking. I want to mention them. People are like afraid of the bollocks of this Qatar thing with United. I'm going on record here saying, if Qatar buy United, it'll be an absolute fucking disaster for them. I think it's a disaster waiting to happen, because I think what people overlook when these fucking super rich bleeding sheikhs come in is that, look how long it's taken City to... City hadn't got... City. The only reason it works for City now, I know people hate him and call him a checkbook manager, is because of Guardiola. Alright? And they haven't even been able to get to the promised land yet in terms of winning everything and winning the Champions League, which people will tell you if he doesn't do it, he's going to be regarded as a failure. And I'd sort of agree with them if he doesn't manage to do it with. But you hear the shit coming out about United and what they're planning on doing. I think these lads just have a load of money and no clue, and I think that's dangerous. I think it's very dangerous.
There's talk of them bringing former players on to have a major say and stuff like that. Like, honestly, like Rio Ferdinand and Gary Neville running the ship. Yeah,
exactly. If they were to come in and give fucking Van der Sar a load of money to do the job there, you think, right, that's being clever. But I don't know. The fact United are being linked with Kane, I think is great. I think it's brilliant stuff. I think it's the exact sign they shouldn't be making. Kane's ready to go into a finished article. He's not got much left on the clock himself. I think if Spurs are clever, they're getting rid of him and giving all the money to Brentford for the likes of Ivan Toney or something like that, because I genuinely think Spurs have an easy out here with regards to Harry Kane, because I think best case scenario, Spurs get Kane to sign on for another couple of years and he just kind of twizzles out. He's getting on, he's getting a little bit fucking, he's injured and that. I think United need to be clever with their recruitment this year, and I think Osimhen as well as another bullet that should be largely dodged. Because I'm getting Lukaku vibes off him, and you'd want to be look at how eager Napoli are to get rid of him, which would suggest that they probably have something.
There'll be a list. There'll be a list in for Osimhen. The centre half off Napoli is excellent. Is he South Korean? Is he South Korean? The lad off Napoli, the centre back.
Yeah.
He's quality.
Kim Min Jae. Yeah.
But with United, I just don't know. It's not like they've been starved of money for the last 10 years and just made the best of a bad situation. They've ploughed so much money in and just haven't got it right, and have made mad sons. Like Casemiro's a fantastic player, but what's he like? Is he north of 300 grand a week for 5 years at 31 or something? Or savage money. The whole United takeover is mad. Sky just tell you there's a new fucking deadline every couple of days just to keep the thing running, and you don't know what they're gonna do. But I want to see them get Qatar because I want to see what Gary Neville says about it. Just Gary Neville. Don't care about anyone else, because just let me. I just want to know what Gary Neville says about Qatar on Manchester United. He might say a little bit more than he did during the World Cup. Do you remember when he was on that soapbox? Anyway, before we finish, we're going into the summer. We're after having a back and forth there about what we would spend. Players leaving. Queevy and Kelleher's names being mentioned again today. Is there a couple there that are under threat? Because we just keep talking about players coming in, and we know Ox and we know Keita and possibly Milner. But you look at Kelleher. Is Gomez at risk? Is there one or two more there, Shawnee, that you think they might get rid of? Not to balance the books or anything. It's just time is up. We need to move on. We need to make it fresh. Can you see any outgoings that, it makes sense, or one that might even surprise you?
No, I don't see. I think we're limited in terms of who we can let go as well because of the homegrown thing. I think Gomez would probably be kept around automatically because he's English. I don't see any surprise outgoings. I think Carvalho could potentially go out on a permanent deal, to be honest with you. I think the club may look at that one as a quick flip, probably offload him somewhere. I think I can see Kelleher definitely moving on. I think he needs to move on for himself. Gomez, no. Tsimikas, no. I think, to be honest, Gav, I don't think we're in a position to be selling a lot of players, to be honest with you, because we've too much to do as it is. I think there's a lot of work on as it is. And it's not like FIFA, you can just fucking bang 6, 7 players and bring them in and integrate them all. I just think we need to be sparing with our time. We need to be as quick getting the players out as we are getting them in. So obviously, if Kelleher goes, going to need to be replaced. Now they might bump Harvey Davies up into the first team and bring in an Alex McCarthy or something, just for example. But no, I don't think they're going to be any shock outgoings. Yeah. I'm just fucking delighted Real Madrid have a good goalkeeper, to be honest with you.
Yes.
I reckon we'd be under severe pressure for Alisson if Courtois was not good, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
So I think we're lucky in that aspect. But now outgoings, I think
minimal.
fairly what you'd expect anyway. And like, except for the fellas who are going out on who are leaving on a free contract. I don't think Thiago will go, because I think he could be back for October, September, whatever his operation is. If he's back for pre-season. If Thiago's
he'd be back by pre-season, yeah.
If Thiago's used sparingly, he's the perfect squad player, and he's a year left on his deal. I think if you're selling him now, you're not going to get much money for him, and I reckon you're better off just keeping him around for that year, and letting him go for nothing. To be honest with you, rather than having to bring in another midfielder in this window, because we've largely agreed we need 3. If he was to go, then you'd need 4. You know what I mean? Like, so, yeah, Matip potentially, depends what they do. All the talk has been, it looks like we're definitely looking at 2 midfielders minimum. That's the talk. So look, it's going to be, the less outgoings we do, the better, I reckon.
Yeah, I think the ones like Firmino. Sorry, we haven't mentioned Firmino goes as well, but we've more or less supplemented him with Gakpo, so that's kind of sorted up that end. I can see it just being the normal ones, you know, the Ox, the Keita, Firmino, Milner, and I think he brings in. I think he just looks to do something in midfield. I would do something at centre back if I got the opportunity. The Gomez thing and it being homegrown is interesting, because I actually think if Gomez wasn't homegrown, I think he'd be gone. Personally, you know, I think he'd hold on to Matip and he'd let Gomez go. That's my thinking on it. Just by who plays, you know, Gomez isn't even in the conversation now for centre half. Let's be honest about it. No, he's not. He's not, Shawnee. What are you laughing at? What are you laughing at?
Patio furniture.
What?
Patio furniture is in the chat.
Oh yeah, seeing that. Patio furniture. I seen that earlier. But I just honestly, I think we've said it so many times. They need to sort this midfield out, because it's just shown so much this season that it has to be put right, you know. And I think I've said it before. We get the midfield sorted, I think it helps our defence massively, and then it allows us to go and play and attack. But I think it really, really needs to be done. I'd be sorry to see Kelleher go if he was sold. I wouldn't mind him going on loan, but I definitely want to buy back on him 1,000,000%, because like you said, Alice can get a pain in his bollocks in a year. And, you know, listen, I'm off to leave Madrid for a couple of years before I go back to Brazil. And Kelleher, to me, I wouldn't like to see all them years walking beside Alisson and learning his trade be wasted by playing for another club when he could be playing for Liverpool. But then again, you can't hold Kelleher to ransom for the rest of his career, or a big part of his career, while we wait on Alisson to see what he's doing. Doak, Davis and 2 more step up this year for me, says Barry Devaney. G10 says if we don't do a centre back, next year's defence is this year's midfield, he feels. I would like to do a centre back. I genuinely would.
Me too. Yeah.
I think
I like Levi Carwell. I like Levi. Yeah. Like, I know he costs money, but I'd like someone like him. Look, we need another centre back. We shouldn't be apprehensive about saying we need players because we don't think we're going to get them. I think we fucking need another centre back. I don't think it's a secret. I genuinely do, especially if he's going to play that system. If we qualify for the Champions League, we absolutely need a centre back, because I can't imagine Virgil's going to be up to playing 2 games a week moving forward. I'm not actually worried about Virgil a long term. I'm genuinely not. I think he's too good a player. I know he's looked jaded and he's looked finished at times. I'm not going to lie, but I do think he can change his game up and still be a top level centre back. Yeah. It'll come once. Look, if the defenders are getting better protection from the midfielders in front of them, their job's automatically easier, and I think that's the first thing we need to look at. Yeah. You know,
as much
Bella Kotchup from Southampton is another one who, when I've watched fucking brilliant. Lightning across the ground, brilliant range of passing. I think he'd be a kill. I think he'd be clever signing. Used to discuss Walker Peters as sort of an auxiliary left back, right back. I think he's another perfect signing.
Paul Giovanni
and
has asked
Lavia,
about Paul Giovanni's asked about Ward-Prowse. I wouldn't take Ward-Prowse.
No, not right. No, I don't think he suits us.
I think he's a crab.
Yeah, look, he's a Southampton player.
He's a brilliantly technical footballer. He's great.
People are going to say, well, fucking Bella Kotchap and Yoka Southampton players. Yeah, but that's clearly not that ceiling. What age is Ward-Prowse?
I'd say about 28-ish.
Yeah. Look,
he's brilliant. Dead ball, he's
player.
Brilliant. But I've watched him.
He's a good player.
I've watched him in the flesh, but he's a crab.
Ward-Prowse might end up at Leicester if they stay up. Someone like that. That's I think he'd be like an ideal replacement for James Maddison, who's going to go. You know, and I don't think James Maddison is suited to Liverpool either. I think he's more of a player who'd be brilliant for Newcastle. But Lavia is another one as well, but he's going to cost money. So, look, we are going to be looking at the clubs going down and see who we can pinch on, and we've done that again. Going off history, we've done that, and I've actually no real issue with that once you're getting the right players. Yeah. So let's see.
Yeah. Is Lavia a former City player?
Yeah, they have I was reading up about Lavia, and there's loads fucking. They have a buyback on him next year. They don't have forced refusal on him.
Okay, so they can buy him back next year.
They can buy him back next year for 40 million, 42 million.
But someone could come in this season and buy him for more.
For more, it's going to cost more than that, obviously.
Yeah.
So.
Cool. Right. Listen, we said we'd do an hour. We're just about on the hour. I like talking about all these players in different clubs. I actually enjoy talking about the other clubs as well. Really do.
Yeah, me too. Yeah.
Liverpool. Look, there's loads of people. You can see the frustration in the chat when we mention transfers and midfielders and stuff. And
totally understandable.
Completely. But you know, the names are flashing around at the moment. The window doesn't open until July the 1st. You may hear some announcements, but I don't think you're going to hear a thing until the season ends. You very rarely hear anything before the season ends, and it's usually season ends, they go off for a couple of weeks break, and then you start hearing something. So you're probably looking mid-June, the way the season is ending. The season ends on the 27th or 28th this season, 28th of May. So you're probably looking at mid-June before anything comes out. But we just enjoy coming on, talking about different players, different clubs, and just talking football, really. The charity link is in the description. Donate if you want, if you can. If you can't, share amongst your family, your friends, your colleagues. I was out playing golf today, and a guy I was playing with donated and sponsored 2 tee boxes today while I was playing golf from. So big shout out to the man Mark who I was playing golf with today. And that's like massive help. So if you want to help us out in any way, lfcdaytrippers@gmail.com. And if you think you can help in any way, give us an email and we'll get back to you ASAP. Yeah, the rest of the week, we hope to have a viewer's voice tomorrow. I'll talk to Matt now when I get off this show. Friday will be the Premier League forecast. Nothing Saturday. We'll be back on Sunday, and then Monday will be full-time Reds, Liverpool away at Leicester. Shawnee, anything else before we go?
No, all good. Season's coming to a close. Another late surge for top 4.
Yeah.
We're all Wolves, aren't we?
You better believe it.
We're all Wolves.
Fuck the top 4. We're all Wolves. Anyway, hope City win at the weekend. Anyway, that has been the transfer knowledge show from the LFC Daytrippers. I've been Gav. That's been Shawnee. Thanks a million to everyone in the chat. You've been amazing as always with all your comments. We read out as many as we possibly could. Hit the like button on your way out. Subscribe if you haven't already. We do this 5-6 times a week. Not this show, 5 and 6 times a week. We do different shows, and it's very much like this, just having a chat and the odd row, the odd laugh, and it's all good. So, but please put on the bell icon, because everyone keeps asking, any shows tonight? Literally, it will pop up on your screen on your phone if you have that bell icon on. G10 says, thanks lads, great show again. Laszlo says, up the Maz. Yeah, that's obviously to do with the people that are running the running the Dublin Marathon in aid of the breast cancer research. We're all leads, says Carl Robinson. Fair show. Carl Robinson, I think he offered to play me in golf. Carl, please email me, lfcdaytrippers@gmail.com, and we'll try sort something out as well. Brighton, for fuck's sake, says Jono. Yeah, less said about that, the better. Full moon at the weekend, says Robert Maguire. You won't see it. It's always fucking raining, so that means clouds. And but that's about it. We will talk to you soon. Over and out.